Welcome back to Inside the Numbers podcast and in this edition of our Coach Spotlight presented by RockDaisy. Today we're joined by Zack Flemming, head strength and conditioning coach at Dobyns-Bennett High School in Kingsport, Tennessee. Since taking over in 2015, Zack has helped shape Dobyns-Bennett into one of the premier high school programs in the Southeast, guiding athletes across every sport. His journey has included stops at the collegiate level, and each experience has a layered perspective that he now brings to his current role. Along the way, he's been recognized as the NHSSCA Tennessee Coach of the Year. Today, we're going to explore how Zack is leveraging RockDaisy's athlete management system and workout builder to drive results, streamline his workflow, and ultimately elevate the experience he's having for his athletes. So, Zack, instead of going in kind of to the list of your resume, talk about your past experiences and how it's prepared you for your current role.
Well, I started off as a GA college, and kind of how that goes. In some situations, you're doing a lot of intern work. In some situations, I was at a small school, so I got thrown into, had all the JV and redshirt football, had a bunch of, tons and tons of athletes of other sports get thrown in the weight room, and I've got to figure it out. And so, early on, it's like I got to manage a whole lot of kids, a whole lot of athletes, and figure out how do I get our program to them? How do I tell each of them individually what to do? And then, that's in college, get thrown into high school, and it's classes of 70 to 100 kids, and, a lower level of athleticism in my case, and kids that don't really know what's going on. So how do we effectively communicate in such a way that we can train efficiently and see results? And so I'd kind of gone with Google Sheets, my own little handwritten stuff, whiteboards. I've done some other technology things that would streamline data collection. For me, I learned that iPads and weight rooms are really challenging to work together without breaking them. I had one kid was trying to move it with a magnet one time actually, and pulled it off, and it hit him in the forehead and cracked the whole middle of the screen. And there was this tension of am I mad because I'm going to have to pay $300 to fix that? Or do I start laughing because that was absolutely hysterical? And so there's this tension there. And a year or two ago, I saw that, we had strength sheets, which was kind of the precursor to RockDaisy coming in and vamping it up in such a way. So I got on with RockDaisy, and man, it's every step has made getting the program out and getting what the individual kid needs. I'm not running 80 different programs. It's one unified program, but there's tweaks. Maybe for a position, if I've got, just football or track, or what, if I've got different sports going on in season and out season. What if I've got a freshman and a senior? What if I've got middle school in there? all these different scenarios at the same time, but how do I effectively communicate the program to the kids so they know what to do? What weight do they do? What, this, and what modifications do they need to have? But also, how do I do it in such a way that it doesn't take hours of my time printing up and writing up and doing all this thing? I've still got to spend my time coaching, not fixing computer related issues and worrying about that. So every step has kind of led me to here now, and efficiently wise, man, I feel really good about it.
Yeah, I want to dig into how you're using RockDaisy, but what about Dobyns-Bennett? What drew you there? What's unique about the place and the situation?
So I actually went to Dobyns-Bennett, and when I got done playing and coaching as a GA, I just called my former head football coach up and just said, "Hey, coach, he was the president of the Football Coaches Association." I was like, basically everybody. If you can think of anybody that needs a coach, you let me know, please, and I'd be happy. I don't care where it's at. I just want to coach. And it's probably about 2 months. He called me back, and he told me, I'm looking for a job this whole time, really kind of getting disheartened. And so he called me back and said, "Hey, I had to let one of my coaches go. I have a grant-funded position. Would you be interested in taking it? Now, if you come up here and do good or do well, they'll probably hire you, but you've got to come up here and prove that we need it." And so that was, I was like, "Heck yeah, you give me that chance, I'll come compete on something. We'll get after it." And so that's kind of what got me back. And one of the things I think that does set us apart is our pursuit of excellence in everything. Like, we're academically focused. Our fine arts are unbelievable. Athletically, we're doing things to push the needle up. It's not like it's, you win a championship or you win a conference or a district or a region. Like, that's the expectation. The expectation is not, "Oh, we had a good year. I wish we could." No. It doesn't matter what athletes you have. It doesn't matter what coaches you have. You find a way to maximize the kids, and you find a way to maximize results. And so just that mindset just drives me here, and it keeps me here. It's always there's never like a day you walk in, you're like, "Man, I've arrived." You always feel not pressured, I feel excited to get to continue, with that, you get to be innovative, right? You don't just say, well, we did this. And if we're always constantly seeking better, I have the freedom to do that. And so just that alone, man, just that constant drive for excellence helps me out a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of, that striving for excellence, that striving to be better or to continue to improve the program kind of obviously led you down the RockDaisy path. And there's not too many high schools that have an athlete management system and able to tie in their workout builder and everything to that. What was the problem that you were trying to solve when you initially kind of went down the RockDaisy rabbit hole?
So I actually, like I said, I started I started off with another electronic delivery software. And I liked it. I really liked it a whole lot. It just got to the point where the technology, like I said, technology in the weight room, and I don't mean like not VBT, like specifically program delivery technology was becoming challenging to use efficiently. I would say I had it so the kids would type data in and I'd be able to collect the data. And then the kids would type in the wrong number or the kids wouldn't do it. It's like, well, the whole point of having this is to gather data, but we're not gathering data. And if I don't gather data, I can't evaluate what we're doing. I can't make changes then. So the whole purpose of this, we're not achieving that purpose. So then we actually went to a school policy of I would allow kids to use their phones at times to type it in, which I knew was a bad idea. I blinded myself to that being a bad idea because I wanted to get the data maybe. And so that was problematic. So iPads weren't working, cell phones weren't working. And so then I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to gather data and then I'll figure something out. So I started using Google Sheets. Well, Google Sheets is great if you're doing a small team or it's not a lot of data. Last year's, let's say I put it in Google Sheets, last year's spreadsheet would have had over 1,200 athletes from 6th grade to 12th grade and hundreds of thousands of data points. So to say Google Sheets, I mean, it can't process that. And so I would do that, but then I would spend, if I didn't print the sheets out the night before, there was no chance I was getting it done the next morning. It'd take me 2 hours to get cards printed just because it would load and load and load. It couldn't handle the amount of data. So then because it took forever to load, it's like I was getting the data, even though I was having to handwrite it, I was getting it, but then to process it and then effectively use it was very challenging. And so it was just like, okay, the technology to get the data wasn't working. The gathering of data was happening, but then I can't process it. So now I need to take the next step. What do I need to get that can process the data so we can actually utilize the data? And I just happened to see it was basically a beta tester for RockDaisy and the workout builder. And so I'd known about RockDaisy. I'd heard wonderful things about it, where I was still paying for the other electronic delivery system. I was like, well, I can't buy RockDaisy yet. So I want to try it, but I can't use it yet. But I saw it, and long story short, I got in on the trial. And with the workout builder, I called them and asked if I could possibly use the actual AMS as well to see how they work together, knowing I wanted to get it. They graciously let me do that. And it was like our program is being delivered, data is being gathered, and we're actually able to, oh my gosh, actually able to use the data, share it with our coaches, show it to our kids. I'm a Google Sheets guy. Like, I love Sheets. I love them because I can make it do what I want it to do. But when I need to do it quickly, if I didn't have a spreadsheet already built to do that, because I'm spending hours trying to get that formula built up and do this.
Right.
RockDaisy had it already. And so now I can type the data in, session's over, push one button, it emails to our coaches or whoever needs it, and I can print off a report card or a scorecard for each kid. It's super easy to do that. So it was just, now we're getting all this data, we're looking at it, and now it's visible and usable. And so usable data is good. Unusable data or bad data is not good. So it's kind of stair-step me up to here.
Well, I think that's, to me, that's what separates it in the marketplace, is the fact that it's not just a workout builder. It's not just an athlete management system, but the integration of all that into one working ecosystem is really the magic sauce there. But take us through kind of a typical training day and how you're using maybe the workout builder and some of the reports that you have.
Okay. So I'm going to pull my screen up here, and I'm really blessed because, I mean, my class schedule, some people have, AB days and this and that, or their schedule, like you don't know when so-and-so's coming in. I've got our kids, I know what time I'm seeing them every day. and they're in the same group. I don't have to worry about that. So I can go in and in the athletes portal, as I build their profile, I can assign them to a group and they're already in. So the screen you're seeing now, I've already gone through and I've got our list of programs. I've got all of them listed out here. I can go in and I can edit them. They're very easy. It's easy to set. If I need to add a workout, I can add a new one. I can import them. I can set it up here. So this would be like our squats. We're looking at whatever percentage. We can add velocity. I can any sort of change or whatever I want. It's on there. And if I absolutely have to use a note, I can. But it's on here. That's what I like. It's on. It's going to be on the card. It doesn't have to be in different places. So I can build out. You can see how the number of weeks, like football, I've got 45 weeks filled out for football, 28 workouts. You can see, you can build out the whole year in here. Now, I don't want to just build out the year in, the January before and then just leave it, but I have it built out. And so that I can modify it as I go. It's easy to pull up. And then when I come in the morning, first thing I do, training cards, Singleton 1 is our football team. That's what we call our class. You can see how many kids are in each group. I'll go in. Sorry, my mouse is messing up. I go in. All right, we're in week 39. Click. We'll just do 38 for them. And then our JV are doing hypertrophy clusters. We'll say they're doing this right here. So I hit apply. What up? We've got this is our quarterbacks. They're in rack 1. This is some of our varsity linemen here. I've got their stuff pulled in. And then I'll go to rack 11. That's when I start our JV guys. It'll pull up, and so all of these programs are assigned to the kid. And so now when I go export, it'll export all of my team, and it's already got what they need to do. It's got their percentages. It's got their weight or whatever the lift is. It's modified on, we'll call it skill level, positional, whatever I need to do. And that's it. That's it. I hit export. It takes what used to take me an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I can get it done in less than 5 minutes now. And I can do that. You can see all my groups here. I can do that with all of them. It takes less than 5 minutes. And not every single kid has to be on the same program. That's a big thing for me. Again, it's not so that sorry, I'm trying to click that. It's not so that I can, just sound cool. It's because there's specific things sometimes I want our kids to do, or maybe, my female athletes class, it's 9 through 12. Some of them I've had trained for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and some of them are just first timers. They're going to do something a little bit different. And could I say, hey, just you do this and you do that? That's fine if it's like a 10-person group, but when you've got 70 to 100 kids, that's not efficient. And then you're just problem solving rather than coaching, and you don't get around to seeing everybody else. If I can put it on the card and then at least give them a baseline, maybe there's appropriate times to say, hey, let's change it to this today. That's fine, but that can't be the norm. It needs to be, what if I go back and review it? I go back, am I going to remember all the verbal changes I made? Maybe, maybe not. So I've got it there. So when I go evaluate the program, like I said, with the data that's already been brought in, and I can look at it like it streamlines what we do so much better there.
Yeah, well, I think one thing that I know for me when putting my stuff into a system like RockDaisy, it makes you a better coach because you have to be a better organizer, and you start to create these buckets, and it allows you to start to see where the gaps are that you need to start. I've got 46 weeks written. I need to get 52 weeks written. And so I need to spend a little bit of time there. And then being able to, another thing I thought that I took out of that I really like as well, that I identify with, is I'm not a big, been a bunch of iPads and things like that in the weight room. I think there's just too much opportunity for distraction, for breaking, or forgetting to charge, doing whatever. I don't want there to be a limiting factor. So I like to print my cards, but I like it to be branded. I like it to look, but then also have that data be centralized in a database. I know you do the same thing in terms of, being able to take that data, put it in the system. What are some of the ways that you're kind of, um, sharing that information with your coaches, with your parents, with the athletes themselves?
So one of the things we're doing, especially our in-season athletes, we're talking about high school kids. So really, if you look at peak height, are they growing? High school kids could walk in one day at 5'5", 75 pounds, next day be 100. They can, it's like in a day they can change. So I'm going to show a couple different screens on here. Let me see if I can pull this one up. The first one is, I think it's this one. Yeah. First one I'll look at, especially in season. Now I've got this on a monthly view right here, so this guy's not gained 25 pounds in season. But I can group it however I want. But I can, look at their body weight growth. Are we maintaining body weight in season? I can do the same thing. I can change it to vertical jump. I want to look at that weekly, or RSI. But I can start seeing trends. One of the things I'll look at, maybe as we're going along, we'll put our GPS data in with our outdoor sports. Is our speed, are we maintaining our speed at least? Are we increasing? Is there a decrease in trend? Why is there a decrease in trend? But so I'll look at this on a weekly, sometimes long-term monthly basis. So this is easy because this chart's easy to read. Like you can see where he started. D1 went up to 170 body weight. Like that's 20 pounds. Now, granted, that's from the end of his season last year to the beginning of this season. But like I said, I'll look at that on a weekly basis. So our in season, I don't have these just flags that pop up like, oh man, I wish I'd have known that kid was losing his weight. I can easily see it. And I can do this with a individual kid. I can do it with the whole team. I can do it with the select group, whatever I want on there. So that's one thing I do in season. I usually pull this up weekly, and I'll check this one out. One of the things, let me see. I'm going to share another screen. Another one we're doing, and I'm thankful that our coaches allow me to do this, is I'm gonna look at two of them. It's similar. Some coaches prefer it one way, some prefer it the other way. So I'm going to show both of them. Like this past year with baseball, we have a whole year of data on our kids that are in high school that are trying out. Same thing with the middle school kids. We've got years of data on them as well because they've been training. So what we'll do is we'll print this off, and they've got a composite average score, and we can change what exercise we want. This is ones that this is a football one, I guess, here. Yeah, this one's football. Looking at it, we'll print this off. You've got I'm not sure what the web graph. I don't know what to call it. Web chart. Yeah. You've got that on there, and you've got your score. Like, okay, so this guy, he's got an 82. He's pretty high up there. There's a lot of green on his. So, we might not take that into consideration he's probably going to play. But if we're having to pick between two kids, I'll sit through the evaluation process with our coaches at tryouts, and as we start talking about, okay, well, what about this guy versus that guy? How's he work in practice? How's he work in the weight room? What is his conduct in the classroom, in the community, physically? How does he compare batting average wise, or stolen bases, or whatever it is? And then we look at his physical performance in the weight room, and so we can print these off, and we've got that to lay out to compare side by side for kids. So it's not just, okay, hey, so-and-so, you're here at an 82 out of 100. Let's try to get your percentile ranking up. It's looking at it and say, okay, let's make decisions on if everything else is equal, and we're going to look at these physical qualities. This kid is quantifiably better than the other kid. And so again, we can make decisions looking at that, and our coaches like to see our growth on that. And then the other one is very similar. I'll pull it up real quick. The other one is it's all the same stuff. It's just written out differently. There's no ray chart or web or whatever you call it. It's just looking at what's his growth, what's his trends. I disregard the attendance. I don't use the attendance feature because I'd have to use an iPad to do it. I was playing around with it one day. So attendance is irrelevant here. But the rest of it, I can see, okay, what's his trends? Okay, his broad jump has gone up. Okay, he was at a 30.3. Now he's at a 27.3 on his jump height. What's going on? we can look at these numbers here and just see raw data. And then we can look down at the bottom and I can look and see, okay, where's his jump height going? I can look at his vertical power. We can kind of see trends as we go. Is this guy improving? Is he not? So it depends on the coach as to who wants which chart there, but it allows us to evaluate not just, we'll say formatively kind of as we go, but also summative assessments. Is this kid, maybe he's trending up. Okay, maybe he's hitting a growth spurt. Maybe it's all clicking. Maybe something, we can kind of see that because it's visual data. It's not just looking at numbers and, hoping I can process that. But like I said, our coaches allow me to be a part of the process. So the more data that we can bring in, that we can use out, that's the key part about it's like, oh, we can, I don't want to get so caught up in data. It's like, let's just get more and more and more and more and have more to process. Let's identify, okay, let's look at trends. Let's identify. Let's whittle it down to the ones that matter most. And now let's analyze that to the highest level and do it super efficiently and communicate it and make sure our kids can see it, our parents can see it, our community supporters. Like, we got to make sure everybody sees it because that visual data can continue, I guess, driving results, drive buy-in. We want to make sure our kids are improving. The people that are financially supporting our kids want to make sure they're improving. Like, it just makes it easy to do all the things that were kind of hard before. It's streamlined in such a way that I don't have to spend hours doing that.
Yeah, I think, one of the things you said there that I think is something that is a great feature is that coaches like to see things different ways. And inevitably, you've spent all this time building these reports and Google Sheets and these different things. And then you go to that offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, whoever, and they're like, well, what about, how's it, you're showing them maybe an individual, drill down on an individual. And they're like, well, what about my position group? And maybe you didn't make that report, and then you're kind of spent scrambling, kind of pulling up different things, and you don't have the opportunity to really have that really tactical conversation when time is of essence, and so being able to expand and see it from a 30,000 foot view and drill down to the individual athlete in just a couple of clicks, I think is what, gives you a lot of support when you're having these kind of conversations with athletes, coaches, parents, administrators, and so on. So this last question here is something, what advice would you give someone that's considering taking this step? And maybe they're a paper and pencil guy. Maybe they're, this technology. I saw you clicking a lot of different things. I don't know if I want to spend the time learning that. Like, what advice would you have for that person?
Well, I mean, I've had to learn a bunch of different softwares because I've been trying to find a solution. And is there always a period of time where you've got to learn when you change? Yeah, there always is. But that trade-off to me is that I get to spend more time coaching. I'm spending more time developing relationships with our kids. I'm spending more time at practice watching our kids. I'll go to basketball practice, and I'm a wrestler. I'm a football wrestling guy. I'm useless at basketball. But by God, I can get down there low and play. I can play some tough defense for them, but I can get in drills and help. And like, I can be more a part of the team because I'm not sitting at the computer trying to get the data and trying to change this report to go to that report. And when I get all these hours back professionally, I can be more involved actually coaching, in the weight room, but actually on the field. I can be at practices. I can go to volleyball and football the same day now. I can get up to soccer if I need to. I can go to and be more involved in the sport. So get better buy-in. And probably more importantly is like, I'm not coming home with my computer and then working on my stuff because it's already done. It's already analyzed. It's already put in. So I can come home and I can be husband, I can be father, and I can be, be engaged here in a way. And let's not play pretend like if you're in sports, like you're going to get after hours calls. It happens. But so much less of that time is spent. Like, we had an issue this weekend. I had to worry about taking care of that. That happens. That's not every weekend. That's not every weeknight. But because I was willing to learn this new system, and then it streamlined everything so I can be more involved, coach more, I can love my family more. Like, it's just time. If I can trade the time, and I mean, you saw the product. Like, it's easy to read. It's not like I can send it to our coaches. I don't need a PhD to understand it. They can say, oh, green, good, red, bad. Anybody can read that, and that's not because coaches are dumb. It's because coaches have a million other things they need to worry about. So we can color code it and they can be like, oh, good. Yes. It needs to be easier for them as well. So I the efficiency and the quality of coaching on and off the field is just improve. So that'd be just learn it. It's gonna be uncomfortable for a little bit. You'll figure it out. You'll be fine. Do it, and I'm telling you, you'll see dividends.
Well, it's easy to see that you embrace these things, and it's easy to do maybe earlier in your career, right? When everything's new and all those types of things, but it's easy and obvious to see that you're doing it for the right reasons of, making sure that you're giving time back to your family, giving time back to your athletes, and giving time back to being able to invest in your career as well. And I think that's awesome. And it's obvious that why you've had the success that you've had. I appreciate you doing this, man. If for those coaches that are listening, if you are interested in RockDaisy, reach out to Zack, myself, rockdaisy.com. I think, people that use it, they all love it, and they want to shout from the mountaintops because it's made my life easier. It's made your life easier. I think it's a great product and good people behind it. So Zack, appreciate you being on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.